GFL salivating because Holm no longer in the UFC roster. She's now a free agent. She had 2 fights left on her deal, according to Ariel Helwani, and asked to explore other opportunities, and the UFC obliged. She could go to the GFL, she could go to the PFL, or pursue boxing, her first combat sport. Holly's biggest claim to fame in the UFC was knocking out Ronda Rousey and winning the bantamweight belt. Bellator is no more, so Bellator champs are probably going to become PFL champs. And Corey Henderson says if all this info is solid and Bellator champs are now PFL champs, good news is we now have more potential opponents, matchups. Now, can we get back to fighting in the USA? Maybe even more fights in Las Vegas?
Invite me to Vegas right now.
You need to calm down.
No, invite me to Vegas.
Absolutely not.
You invite hookers to Vegas.
So I just walked in training. My son go, Dad, look at your belt. What mama did to your belt? Look at that. The disrespect in my own home. First I get disrespected by Don Davis. Now my wife ain't disrespecting me. It's all on my shadow box. It is quite funny though.
PFL should make an announcement on Wednesday. PFL founder and chairman Don Davis says, change. Now's the time for change. Nothing stays the same. Now's the time for change. PFL January 15th announcement. Improvement, innovation, forward. Hashtag PFL MMA. With Bellator gone, 3 of their GOATs in their organization include Eddie Alvarez, Bellator lightweight champion 2 times. Eddie Alvarez won the inaugural Bellator lightweight championship and later reclaimed it. Michael Chandler, Bellator lightweight champion 3 times, 3-time champion in Bellator lightweight history, very historic fighter in their organization. Patricio Pitbull, dual champion, held the Bellator featherweight and lightweight titles simultaneously. Eddie Alvarez says, hey Bellator, I was thinking now would be a great time to negotiate the rights to my fights I had during my time there. I'd like to offer $7 in total, and I'd be willing to go as high as $10 if you include a signed poster of Bjorn Rebeny. Eddie Alvarez had a dispute with Bellator. It was a notable contract saga that played out between 2012 and 2014. In 2012, Alvarez's contract with Bellator expired and he sought free agency, and the UFC did make an offer. A lucrative contract, including pay-per-view points, signing bonus, and high fight purses. So Alvarez was keen to accept the offer from the UFC, but Bellator exercised their right to match the contract, claiming their offer matched the UFC's terms. But Eddie and his team argued Bellator's offer wasn't a true match, particularly regarding the pay-per-view opportunities, which Bellator didn't have at all in the same scale as the UFC. So that became a legal dispute between Alvarez and Bellator, disputing whether Bellator truly matched the UFC's offer or not, and the situation sidelined Alvarez, preventing him from fighting from either promotion during the legal proceedings. In 2014, Alvarez and Bellator reached a settlement. Alvarez was released from his Bellator contract and signed with the UFC. It ended up working out really good for Alvarez. He would go on to become the UFC lightweight champion. And he'll be fighting in BKFC on the 25th of this month in Philadelphia at Knucklemania against Jeremy Stevens. People were wondering where the PFL was going to air the January 25th card. Now the PFL announces it will be streaming exclusively on Max. That's Nurmagomedov versus Hughes. Nurmagomedov 18-0, Hughes 13-1. Dagestan versus Ireland Part 2. Alex Pereira says he's heading back home and to stay tuned because he has good news coming up this week. Maybe they'll announce him fighting Magomed Ankalaev. A potential date is UFC 313 in March. Dom Cruz says his final fight will be against Rob Font on the 22nd of February in Seattle, Washington. He says his body ain't the same anymore. He doesn't want to get to the point where he's like TJ Dillashaw. He can't lift his hand up. He can't lift his arm over his head. Dom says he's happy he's not in the main event because it's 2 extra rounds of work, plus all the promotional obligations being in the main event, so it's not worth it to him for the amount of extra money they give him. The main event is Cejudo versus Song Yadong. Nate Diaz was making fun of Michael Chandler, and then Chandler says, Habib speaks better English than you, Nate Diaz. Maybe these two can fight. Nate wants to get back into the UFC soon. Umar Nurmagomedov as a kid, he looked like he could have been the bantamweight champion, even as a child. Armin Sarukian with Nina Drama asking if she's gonna eat meat.
No more joking.
You gonna eat meat?
Right.
So, 보냈어.
Hyung-Sung Park versus Niam Jargal Tumundambari at UFC 312 February 8th in Sydney, Australia. So that's probably it in terms of fights on that card, because that's the 14th fight on that card. Aside from the main and co-main event, I don't think there's any ranked fighters in the top 15 on this card, but they have 9 Australians on the card. Stuart Nicol, Salkild, Tafa, Nolan, Jenkins, Haddon, as well as Jimmy Crute, Jonathan McAuliffe, and Jake Matthews. Turkey LL Sheik indicating that Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez will happen this year. Daniel Cormier at WWE Raw. He'll be at the UFC on Saturday at UFC 311, Inglewood, California, commentating alongside John Anik and Joe Rogan, commentating some of his friends' fights: Islam Makhachev, Tagir Ulanbekov, Umar Nurmagomedov. Khabib says he'll be done coaching when his friends like Makhachev, Nurmagomedov, and Ulanbekov are done, because he's tired of it. He doesn't want to do it anymore. Cody East and Dylan Rush went to war in BYB Extreme. Yuri Prochazka thinks he'll fight Alex Pereira for a 3rd time for the belt. Unlikely, maybe 20 years down the line, the same way Tito Ortiz had a trilogy with Chuck Liddell 20 years after their rematch. Maybe like that. Right now, it's not necessary, but him fighting Jamal Hill is necessary. Saturday night, that's going to be a fun one.
Many of you know I'm from Pasadena, the area that has been affected by these fires. Fortunately, my house did not get burned. This is right here in my neighborhood. This seems like this are throughout my neighborhood. Further to the north, it's blocked off by the National Guard and the Sheriff's Department, and you can't go up there, but that has been leveled, burned to the ground. I know that everyone wants to be of help. Everyone wants to, everyone's rallying behind this area, and moving forward, I'm going to be trying to find ways where you guys can put your energy to be more helpful. I will be sharing some people's GoFundMes, people who I know who have lost their homes. I'll tell you who those people are to me, and I'll tell you what I know about them. And some of them, I think, by helping them, you'll be able to help the area, because these are people who I know that all they know how to do is work, and all they know how to do is get out and make things better. So, man, keep us in your thoughts, and keep this area in your prayers. Hi, guys. Many of you know I'm from Pasadena, the area that has been affected by these fires.
What's up, MMA Digest fans? Money Moicano here, and I want you to check out my new line of supplements to get you in shape and ready for 2025. If you use the code MMA Digest, you're gonna get free shipping, my brother. And if more than 50 people buy the supplement with this code, we're gonna do a free giveaway of a official t-shirt or hat, my brother. Thank you so much. Big supplements is coming, my brother.